we can get started. I hope the board is visible, the font is readable. Guess we can get started. बच्चे लोहाना बोलो. I'm still responding for somebody, to respond with positivity. I hope my voice is loud and clear. We want to begin. Question 1. Please go ahead. Tell me if you have an answer at hand.
100 grams.
100 grams.
100.
Yes, please.
100 grams.
The common answer, these are a set of very straightforward, simple questions, but you also get to realize the simplicity of solving it. So make sure you all have, the answers at hand. So the answer which I get right now is 100. Is 100 the common answer? So N2CO3 giving you carbon dioxide, the molar ratio is naturally 1:1. The molar ratio is naturally 1:1. So 0.01 mole, 0.01 mole coming from 1 gram. Naturally, 1 mole will come out of 100 grams. Now, because the molar ratio is 1:1, 1 mole 100 grams, so 100 is the right answer. We'll want to move on. Let's talk about question 2 then. Yes, has understood. We'll want to move to question 2. Volume of hydrogen liberated by treating 2.4 gram magnesium in excess of HCl. Yes, please. What's the common answer?
2 to
4.
Yet again, 2 to 4 seems to be the right answer. And yet again, these are small little questions, but I hope you all would want to do it, in priority in the real exam, free scoring opportunity. Naturally, 2.4 gram would mean it's 0.1 mole, and 0.1 mole will naturally give you 0.1 mole of hydrogen. So 0.1 mole of hydrogen would amount to 2.24, I believe. 2.24 is the required answer, and 10 to the power minus 2 would naturally mean it's 224 into 10 to the power minus 2. Yes, I'm doing it all right. We'll want to move on. Yes, I'm doing it all right. We'll want to move on. Question 3.
4
liter.
4 liter.
Zinc reacting with HCl, producing hydrogen and zinc chloride. Volume of hydrogen produced by 11.5 gram of zinc, the section of HCl. So, these are things we have done much before class 10 even. And, I'm thinking that all of you would want to find it like a piece of cake, 11.5 upon 55.4. These are the number of moles. Now, these number of moles will give you the same number of moles of hydrogen. In this case, the molar volume is given as 22.7 liters. So this into 22.7 is all what you need to do. I think this is all we need to do. Anything else? Have I missed out on something? बच्चे लोग?
नहीं सर इससे 4 आ जाएगा.
So this will give you a value close to 14.9 something written. If you do directly, this will be close to 4. So nearest integer is 4. We'll want to move on. Question 5. Is Vidit having some problem in joining? Somebody having some problem in joining can, leave the meeting and try one more time. So many times, if it's not getting connected in the first go, you'll want to resume, you'll want to. I hope Vidit is able to connect to me. I find him in the waiting room, since a long time. Question 4. Question 4.
1362.
1362.
Indeed, 1362. Indeed, 1362 seems to be the right answer. And it's 0.2 molar. It's 0.2 molar. The molarity is number of moles per liter. Now, 1 mole is 22.4 liters at NTP. Actually, this so many times take it as a specified temperature, 25 degrees Celsius, Kelvin. So naturally, want to go where the given value is 22.7. And if this is the volume of 0.2 moles of carbon dioxide at NTP, because I have to take care of 0.3 liter only, this is all that you want to do. This is all that you want to do. So this is number of moles per liter. It's 0.3 liters. And guess that's going to give you 1.362. If it gives you 1.362, it's naturally 1362 ml. We want to move to the next question. Question 4. We're done with 4. I hope you're all able to understand me. We'll want to move to the next question. Question 5. The strength of 50 volume solution of H2O2. Now, volume strength is something. Volume strength is something which I have got in some batches. I might not have got in some other batches. Somebody else would have taken the class. If you have a problem in volume strength, please keep a note. You want to speak to me or ping me after the class. I'll send you the video. But 50 volume strength literally means that every liter of the solution, 1 liter of the solution, 1 liter of the solution would give you 50 liters of oxygen ready. And it's a relative ratio. 1 liter will give you 50 liters, actually 1 ml will give you 50 ml of oxygen. H2O2 would dissociate into water and oxygen very, very readily. See, this is the balance equation. I hope I'm being understood. बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो. First of all, what's the answer to this question?
150.
150.
150 sounds very good. Now, a 50 volume solution, which means 1 liter will give you 50 liters of oxygen, and they won't the strength in grams per liter. Hey, so I simply believe that if 1 liter of this is giving me 50 liters, now 22.7 liters, according to the problem, comes from 68 grams. So naturally, I believe that 50 liters, which is the volume required, will come from 68 into 50 upon 22.7 grams. Yes or no? Go with the definition of volume strength. Now, the definition of volume strength is X volume, H2O2 will mean 1 liter will give you X liters. So if this is 50 volume, 1 liter is supposed to give me 50 liters of oxygen. Now, according to the equation, 50 liter will come from these many grams of H2O2. And these many grams of H2O2 should be in 1 liter. You can use 50 liters of oxygen for it to be called 50 volume. In case you have a problem with the unit volume strength, I can certainly share a video of H2O2 volume strength with you. You can pay me after the class, but this I reckon would give you a value close to 150. 150. How many of you got it right? Because this was a little out of the routine. How many of you got it right? We'll want to move on. Quickly tell me your name, and we'll want to move on. We want to move on. Question 6. Yes, I'll give you half a minute or less to read it. What's the common answer?
15 ml.
15 ml.
15 ml is the common answer, and I guess the right answer. See, the fourth thing which comes to your mind when you see 73 grams is 2 molar. Please tell me if you relate to this. HCl 36.5, 73 grams per liter. The first thing which comes to your mind is HCl is 2 molar. Yes or no? Yes or no? And you want to realize that so many times. I prefer doing it in a one-liner. So many times I prefer doing it in a one-liner. Please tell me for understanding me. When you write volume in ml into molarity, you do in terms of number of millimoles. So this is number of millimoles. Weight upon molecular weight, or in this case atomic weight. Naturally, because it's an element I'm talking about. This is the number of moles of atoms into 1000 is the number of millimoles of atoms. Yes or no? I'm equating number of equivalent for number of moles, for number of millimoles, because certainly this is going to be the case. Yes or no? बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो. Does it give you 15? जितना सोडियम होगा उतना ही एनएच होगा और 1:1 रेशियो में है. Please go ahead. We want to confirm that this is giving you got it. I guess this is going to be 15, and we want to move on. बच्चे लोग हाँ ना बोलो.
Yes, sir.
Moving on. Okay, right time बोल तो बोलो. 7. Question 7.
Option B.
Bombay.
We are in Bombay 2.06. We are in Bombay 2.06. Now 10.8% of carbon by weight. So first of all, I want to find the weight of carbon. First of all, I want to find the weight of carbon, which is say 10.8 gram and 250 gram and 10.8. You know, carbon I reckon is going to be 10.8% of
सर आपका
250.
स्क्रीन बार बार फोकस के बाहर हो जा रहा है.
हाँ मैं बोला ना, मैं उसने बोला कि ये शायद this might work this day and I know that I need to work more upon it. So you know, let's keep our fingers crossed. अभी तो still है 27 gram. हाँ 27 gram. ये 27 क्या रखा है देखो तो.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
27 होगा.
27.
27 ग्राम से ग्लूकोज कितना बनेगा, मतलब C12O6 में C12O6 में you have 72 gram of carbon, you know, for 180 gram of glucose. So 180 gram of glucose contains 72 gram of carbon. So 27 grams of carbon and the corresponding mass of glucose would be like 180 into 27 by 72. I got it like 62.5. I didn't. I got it like 67.5. I'm sorry. I got it like 67.5. Now 67.5 gram of glucose would certainly mean that out of 250 grams, if this is 67.5 grams, then the amount of water is 250 minus 67.5, and that I reckon is 182.5. Yes, about 182.5.
182.5.
Now I have number of moles. I have number of moles in terms of the weight upon molecular weight, and I'll certainly find molarity as number of moles, which is 67.5 gram of glucose upon 180 upon how many grams? 182.5 grams of water into 1000. So this is a bit of calculation. Certainly, it's a bit of calculation. You know, it would take a while, but because the options are given, you know, I would want to go with a question where options are given, because so many times you don't need to do it, you know, clinically, and one way or the other, you realize that the value is going to be close to 2. So 2.06 is the right answer. We'll want to move on. But you know, question 8. Yes, I'm being understood. 2.06 is the right answer. I started with 10.8% of 250 grams. I got carbon at 27 grams. With the amount of carbon, I know the molecular formula of glucose. 72 grams means 180 grams of glucose. So I found out the number of grams of glucose. Corresponding difference would be that of water, and then the molarity by definition. Question 8. Question 8 is a simple one. Very simple, very straightforward.
4 moles.
I mean, I think 4 is the common and the right answer, because if it's requiring 16 moles of any of it, realize SOCl2, SO2Cl2, सल्फ्यूराइड क्लोराइड इसको बोलते हैं, सल्फ्यूराइड राइड बोलते हैं. मैंने ये सब बताता हूँ रिडॉक्स में. इतना मजेदार चीज है कि +6 -1 यहाँ पर +6 और -1 ही रहता है. Everything which I have told you in redox with the negative part taking up positive part of water becoming the hydroxide, and the positive part becoming the negative part of water, which is plus minus. The sulfur will form the acid, chlorine will form the hydroxide, and the oxidation number is generally retained in hydration. So many results of, you know, oxidation number are being met here. SO2Cl2, sulfuride chloride, as I told you. And you know, if it's giving you H2SO4 plus 2HCl, now this is going to be 1 mole is 2 equivalent, 2 mole is 2 equivalent. So this will get us 4 equivalent of 4 mole of NaOH. Now 4 mole of NaOH is the amount of NaOH which will be reacting with acid coming per mole of SO2Cl2. So 16, and we'll want to simply write 4 moles of SO2Cl2 will be enough, you know, to give you sulfuric acid HCl, which will react with 16 moles of 15 equivalent of NaOH. So that is how you get 4 solar molar NaOH, that would have solar equivalent NaOH. और इसका पर मोल से कितना एसिड आता है, वो 4 इक्विवेलेंट या 4 मोल. तो 4 मोल रहेगा तो 16 इक्विवेलेंट या 16 मोल. 4 is indeed the right answer. We'll move on. 9. Yet again, as simple as you get. You know, I
3.
believe
3.
these are the better. Yes. 3 is the right answer. I think these are the setters. I'm a little disappointed as well because certainly, way back, the questions from volumetry used to be the most, fascinating package or part of the question paper. I'm multiplying two here because, they say it's dry basic. They say it's diactivity. First two they करके मैं molarity से normality में convert कर लिया and it say the basicity of the corresponding acid and this will give me n is equal to 3. So maybe these are the sitters which you find in the JEE because I did not find any question which is challenging enough. Maybe in titration we'll want to see those questions. We'll want to move on. Question 10.
13.
13.
13.
13.
Na2O, and I think the molecular weight of Na2O is 46 plus 16, which is 62. So it seems to be a little bit of, uneven calculation. 20 by 62, 20 by 62 would be the number of moles of Na2O, and every Na2O would give you 2 NaOH. So if this is the number of moles of Na2O into 2 would be the number of moles of NaOH form. And because it's 500 ml of water, this is the number of moles of NaOH is 500 ml water. So you might want to multiply again by 2 to get the molarity. I think I'm being understood. I don't want to write like into 1000 by 500. I think I'm being understood. The number of moles of Na2O into 2 is the number of moles of NaOH formed in half liter. So in 1 liter should be further 2. So all in all, it's like 160. What is the answer? 1.3.
13. 13.
13.
80 by 62 is 40 by 31. So we थोड़ा सा कर दो तो almost 1.3 and it will carry on. So 1.3 is as good as 13 into 10 to the power minus 1. So this is again a calculation which is going to take less than a minute. As you took less than a minute, maybe we took less than a minute to solve it. I think we can move on. Simple as a class, Na2O molecular weight, you can hardly go wrong here. 11.
5.
5.
5.
Again, this is such a simple question to have been there in. I have not been able to correct the mistake. कि 20.0 ये जो उसका यूनिट होता है ना वो यूनिट है. Actually, ये नहीं देखते हम लोग ये समझ में नहीं लगता है कि NaOH और हाइड्रोजन की I don't need the data. Now naturally 1.2 gram per ml. Didn't tell you कोई भी प्रॉब्लम में डेंसिटी रहता है हमेशा डेंसिटी से स्टार्ट करते हैं. तो 1.2 gram per centimeter cube is like 1200 grams per ml per liter and 1200 grams per liter. Assuming water density is 1 gram per ml, is no change in volume. So minus 100, minus 1000 will give you 200 gram of this solute. Now 200 gram of the solute with NaOH in this case by 40 will give you 5 moles. Now 5 moles in 1000 grams is 5 moles. And we'll want to move on. Question 12. When 10 ml of aqueous was cited in presence of sulfuric acid indicator for the fourth time, I find any application of, in factor of KCl2 in factor of KCl2 tell me
6.
This is 6. I think everybody remembers it. 15 into 0.02, I multiply with 6 because 6 is the factor here. I'm including number of equivalents. In this case, number of equivalents is the same as number of moles because ferrous becoming ferric, the n factor is 1 only. So here n factor is 1, the molarity is the same as molarity. You want to find x from here. And what's the value of x if you get from here? Please go on, tell me what the value of x if you get from here.
The 8.
Yes, please.
18.
18 into 10 to the power minus.
Answer. अगर कोई यहाँ पर n factor नहीं कर पाया and for somebody if it looks like a very difficult question, trust me, it does not call for. Is उससे भी there in the class? Is उससे भी there in the class? Anyways, so I have people sending me, very difficult horrendous problems on stoichiometry right now. What it comes in the real exam is as simple as a class. Trust me. means there could be a person here or there, it would be like calculation or otherwise, solution intense, but simple as it looks. This would be within the और questions now read off का करवाऊंगा जरूर because ये सिर्फ इसमें काम नहीं होगा बहुत सिंपल है. Point 7 to graph का determination polarity का आंसर बोलो
4.
4.
core 0.7 to graph का like 0.72 upon 180. Now because they want it in 10 to the power minus 3, this is as good as 720 upon 180 into 10 to the power minus 3 and multiply it up to 40. The polarity is 4. We want to move on to question 14. So far so good, I believe. Can I take one more? We want to be finished in the next 10 minutes. 250 0.4 molar anyway will add it to 500 1 molar HCl, the amount of unreacted HCl. Come on, quickly give me the answer.
226.
226.
226. Now this is a very tricky proposition. This is very tricky because I think you'll get 225 if you take 6. I did taking 6 and I got 225 and then I found the answer was wrong. So this is again something which is ideally not good for anybody's interest. But this is how life is. In this problem, I got a lower value when I took 6. Anyway, I want to explain it to you. 50 millimole है और ये मेरे को लगता है 125 millimole है. I think you're happy with this. Anyway, it is 125 millimole and this is 500 millimole. Yes or no? Hope I'm not making any mistake. So HCl there, please, respond to me. 375 millimole. I repeat, want to respond to me in these many moles. Into these many moles, I think I'm doing it all right. Into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. I think this is how you need to solve it. But चलो हाँ ना बोलो.
हाँ सर.
Sir.
और ये 6.022 लेने से ना 226 आता है. 225.8 आ रहा था. 225.8 आ रहा था मेरे को. This is why it was pretty tricky. It 10 to the power 28, 10 to the power 22, 10 to the power 21 करने के लिए eventually try something like this. First taking 31.5 into 6 and with 6 equal to 225. So these are things that you will want to take into account. Maybe a little more calculations, but you would want to play safe and get 226 as the right answer. We want to move on. But hello. 14. 50. 14. 15. 15. ये भी ना बहुत स्टूडेंट फ्रेंडली है. इसमें काम लगता है बहुत कुछ करने का है. Come on, what's the common answer?
सर 1.
1.
मतलब इसमें लगता है काम बहुत करना कुछ करना नहीं. अगर मान लो NaOH 8 ग्राम है, तो will believe Na2CO3 is y ग्राम. अरे 4 minus y 4 minus 8 ग्राम. ये ना बिना मतलब का ये करने का जरूरत नहीं है. ये x और y दो वेरिएबल ये भी नहीं है. इक्विमोलर दिया हुआ, you can take it as 4 minus x. You can take it as 4 minus x. And equipolar will certainly be x by 40 is equal to 4 minus x by 106. And I think this will give you 106 is equal to 160 minus 40x. And the moment you get something like x is equal to 160 by 146, and if it's an integer, the only integer which will be the closest integer is 1. So something which is very student friendly, don't need to do any calculation. 150 by 146 and the closest integer will be 1 only. We'll want to move on to the next question, which is question 16. I think I've been able to understand. Number of moles equal is what equimolar means. Weight upon equal. Weight upon molecule. 16.
2 आ रहा है सर.
What's the half gram? 90 molecular weight, 250 ml. Molarity of the solution is. Again, no absolute figure. Number of moles is 4.5 by 90. ये 250 ml है, so naturally per liter it will be like I would be rather tempted to always write, as you always tempted to write into 4 directly. I would rather want to avoid doing this every now and then. So this is 4 by 20, which is 1 by 5, which is 0.2 molar, and 20 आ रहेगा 20 है ना.
2.
0.6 2 आ रहा है 2, ठीक है. Guess we can move on. 16 2 is the right answer. We'll want to move on. Question 17. Question 17. Guess we're all happy with that. बच्चों लोग खाना बोलो. Question 17. Another 5-7 minutes. I want to be done with this. 17 will want to go with the gut feeling. They generally don't play dirty here. I think इसका आंसर 10 ही आएगा. मेरे को लगता है इसका आंसर 10 ही आएगा.
हाँ सर.
हाँ सर 10.
एक लीटर में अगर ये 14.3 ग्राम होता है and 14.3 ग्राम अगर 0.1 नॉर्मल होता है, remember sodium carbonate has an N factor 2, so naturally 0.1 normal is going to be 0.05 molar. People having difficulty in converting normality to molarity or molarity to normality would want to fix it. There is something you need to be good at. Molarity or normality to molarity should be like the back of your hand. इसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं होना चाहिए. So 0.05 moles is 0.05 moles. So 0.05 moles are going to weigh 14.3 grams. Naturally, I believe molecular weight is 114.3 upon 0.05, and this I guess will give you 286. Now 286 would leave me with 106 as sodium carbonate and 18x. Na2CO3 or NH2O is the hydrated form of sodium carbonate. Global first I बोलते हैं इसको. X is equal to. चलो खाना बोलो.
हाँ सर.
आगे बढ़ते हैं. Question 18. 6.023 10 by 22 molecules present in 10 gram of substance. Molarity percentage is 5 gram of it. So 5 gram will contain half of it into 2 liters. So 5 gram will contain half of it. 5 gram will contain half of it. So 6.023 into 10 to the power 22, and half of this will be present in half of 10 gram. And if it's 2 liter, it will be further half. And 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 is eventually going to be the number of moles and then the molarity per liter. So what does it give you? It gives you 140. If I'm not wrong,
25.
which is 1000 upon 40 into 10 to the power minus 3. And this is 25. 25 is indeed the right answer. We want to move on. Question 18. If you end up doing a mistake here, please check that these are things which are like free schooling opportunities. These are free schooling opportunities. Don't make a stupid mistake here. 19. Phosphoric acid. पहला बात तो phosphoric acid is H3PO2. पर ये H3PO2 हो या H3PO3 हो या H3PO4 से फर्क
तो
नहीं पड़ता है.
नॉर्मैलिटी दिया हुआ तो काम ही नहीं है.
Very good, very good. That's it's so very nice words from you. ये normality दिया हुआ, so this will not make a difference. So somebody complaining you don't know the formula of phosphoric acid, you don't know the basicity of phosphoric acid. First of all, it's monobasic, but that would not make a difference because normality दिया हुआ है, and 10 into 0.1 is equal to 10 into 0.1. So what I did in this process was give you the solution check. It is the right answer I gave. B into 0.1 is equal to 10 into 0.1. The equal number of equivalents. Yes or no? So we equal to 10. आगे बढ़ते हैं. 20. Ammonia released on ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा याद रखना पड़ेगा. NH2CO NH2CO NH2 just carry away, and this will give you 2 moles of ammonia. This will give you 2 moles of ammonia along with sodium carbonate. This will give you 2 moles of ammonia with sodium carbonate. चलो हाँ ना बोलो.
हाँ सर.
थोड़ा ये याद. और क्या है बाकी हो ही जाएगा. 0.6 ग्राम यूरिया है, इसका मॉलिक्यूलर वेट 60 होता है. ये करते करते आदत पड़ जाता है. 0.6 ग्राम is 0.6 by 60. These many moles of ammonia would give you how many moles of ammonia? These many moles of urea will give you 2 times the moles of ammonia. Ammonia का N factor is 1. Ammonia का N factor is 1. तो जितना मोल्स उतना ही इक्विवेलेंस, तो कितना आता है दोस्त? कितना आ रहा है?
ऑप्शन सी आ जाएगा.
2 into 10 to the power minus 2. 2
C
to 10 to the power
answer.
minus 2 to the power minus 2 is equal to 20 milliequivalent. 20 milliequivalent है ना? What's the common answer? Come on, tell me quickly.
C.
What's the
C.
common answer?
Calcutta
C.
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 20 milliequivalent is the right answer. 20 milliequivalent is the right answer. 20 C Calcutta 20 milliequivalent is the right answer. We'll move on. 50 ml of half molar azelaic acid is needed to replace 25 ml of NaOH. The amount of NaOH is 50 ml of this is so 50 ml इसका डबल होगा 25 ml में जितना होगा उसका डबल होगा 50 ml में और यहाँ पर azelaic acid please have to remember in fact it is equal to 2 so 0.5 mole that is 1 normal and 50 ml of 1 normal 50 ml of 1 normal so that is 50 milliequivalent so very 50 milliequivalent 25 ml में था तो 25 ml में it will be like you know ये सब देख ही समझ में आ जाता है 100 milliequivalent 100 milliequivalent elements के लिए 100 milliequivalent elements के लिए somebody like Harry gave me the right answer for the very first time I'm so sorry what I mean is the first one to give me the answer of this question in terms of a mistake was Harry right are you going to see इसमें कोई भी आंसर नहीं है इसमें सारा आंसर रॉन्ग है ये क्लियर हो गया
4 आ रहा है
4 आ
4
रहा
आ
है।
रहा है
4 आ रहा है
4 आ रहा है 4 आ रहा है
4 है
बहुत सारे स्मार्ट बच्चे क्या क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कर लेते हैं अपना काम कर लेते हैं और क्लास में नहीं आते रिकॉर्डिंग देख करते you know you need to be present in the class as a moral support for the teacher as well you know your presence in a class which is hardly a 40-minute class you know would be mostly beneficial anyone with a question right now please go ahead tell me without it 22
सर ऑप्शन
sodium carbonate
ऑप्शन ए
सर ए
25 ml
sodium carbonate की in fact 2 है sodium carbonate की in fact 2 है तो 30 ml of 0.1 molar is like 30 ml of 0.2 normal and NaOH की in fact 1 है so naturally 0.2 molar is 0.2 normal only so I think I'm being understood you know this is the trick of solving this problem somebody reading it properly and somebody knowing volumetric properly would not even need to lift the pen ये बिना पेन उठाए ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाता है ये मैं सिर्फ एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए बोल रहा हूँ सोडियम कार्बोनेट 10 फैक्टर 2 सबको पता होना चाहिए 0.1 मोलर 0.2 नॉर्मल दिस 0.2 मोलर 0.2 नॉर्मल दोनों में नंबर ऑफ मिलीक्वार्ट्स बराबर है तो विल रिक्वायर द सेम अमाउंट ऑफ HCl it is 25 ml we move on to question 23 molar mass of sodium M2CO3 is producing 0.0186 molar carbon dioxide so one gram you know this is a problem one only so the ratio is 1:1 so 1 gram is giving you 0.00186 moles will naturally come from 0.01186 moles of metal carbonate
84.3
yes
naturally one mole is equal to
84.3
1 upon 0.01186. Again, I want to go with these questions because you know they are not challenging. You know, 1000 से multiply करो 1000 upon 11.86 is 4 options. You know, options वाला question I want to you know never skip. ये मेरा gut feeling है कि it will be value at 80 plus. B Bombay. We're going to move on. B Bombay. 24. Volume of 0.1 normal diabetic acid sufficient to make the base, you know, that is furnishing 0.04. देखो इससे काम हो जाएगा. 0.04 mole was minus के लिए 0.04 E. This I guess is going to require 0.04 mole of or equivalent of you know extra. It certainly is going to come from 0.1 into 0.1 normal, 0.1 normal, 0.05 normal तो normal से
तो
करेंगे.
A आगरा
Yeah. मतलब ये देख के हो जाता है मेरे को पता नहीं ऐसे लगता है देख के हो जाता है इसके लिए तो बिल्कुल मैं उसका फॉर्मूला क्या लिखूं ml into 0.1 ml into 0.1 is equal to you know 40 this is 40 millimolar 40 millimolar ठीक है 40 millimolar plus just we can move on 25 molarity of urea added 2.3 liter of water at SPS कितना ग्राम है तो molarity will be like 0.01 upon 6 which is molecular weight number of moles 0.3 decimeter cube is 0.3 liter in 1000 gram assuming density of water is 1 gram per liter this will be into 0.3 only into 1 by 0.3 ऐसे ही होता है देखो तो बच्चे लोग this is what we need to please correct me if I have done some mistake. And I think this will be like is it giving you 5.57 10 to the power minus 4? Please go on, tell me.
सर
वो
ए
सही है।
आगरा
A.
EDR मेरे को लगता है ना ये सेट में एक भी मिस्टेक इसका नहीं हो रहा है you know is what you want to achieve real exam questions you want to get 100% efficiency मैं बोलता हूँ हमेशा प्रॉब्लम डेंसिटी चालू करना यहाँ पे डेंसिटी पूछा है फिर भी मैं बोलता हूँ डेंसिटी चालू कर मान लो उसका डेंसिटी रो ग्राम पर ml I don't know how many would have done it in the different manner but I prefer doing it like ro gram per ml is like 1000 ro grams per liter 1000 ro gram per liter is like I'm used to mark percentage clear तो बिल्कुल कैलकुलेट का सारा प्रॉब्लम है तो इतना ग्राम सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड इतना ग्राम सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड अब इतना ग्राम सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड पर लीटर इतना ग्राम सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड पर लीटर तो say इतना मोल्स per liter and that is 3.6 you know I'm pretty used to doing it this way using the row I'm used to getting the molarity now I want to take a row as a variable and find row as a multiplication of all of it or multiplication and quotient of all of it what is the value which you get
1.22 डी दिल्ली
again you
Option.
don't want to skip a problem. You don't want to skip a problem of this kind because the calculation would be not clinically required you want to go with a value which is closest to the given value ठीक है 98 into 3.6 by 290 ऐसे मेरा क्वेश्चन आया 98 into 3.6 by 290 मैं जो सॉल्व कर रहा था मैं यहाँ तक जब आया तो मेरे को समझ में आ गया कि ये वैल्यू 1.2 के आसपास ही होगा ये 100 के आसपास है 300 के आसपास है तो भी लाइक क्लोज टू 3.6 by 3 1.2 के आसपास आएगा so you don't want to leave questions of this kind last one to nuclear completely 20 ml of 0.1 molar phosphorus acid which is FCPO3 for FCPO3 and factor is 2 so
40
0.1
ml.
molar will become 0.2 normal and 40 ml will be required yet again this is how I need to solve it I end up giving you the answer PML into 0.1 is KOH equal to 20 into 0. So you get V equal to 40 ml. I guess it was a nice little experience where what we wanted to achieve eventually was to get all questions right. So I hope some of you would have got all questions right. It would be great, if you can tell me your names, all correct, people who got it all correct.
The Vansh.
Grant.
Nandini.
Grant.
Anyone else? That's the basic objective of a problem set of this kind. That's the basic reason you wanted to get all of them correct. ठीक है इतना चलता है बच्चे लोग फिर हम अगले दिन बात करते हैं कि यहाँ की हेल्दी मैं एक बार क्वांटम नंबर का भी रिवीजन के लिए वापस एक बार भेज देता हूँ at the next opportunity let me see tomorrow or by tonight just the IPL match is not going to be happening because of the weather predicament and the rain and all or if the match turns to be one sided quantum numbers का मैं रात में सॉल्व करवा ये in the worst case tomorrow quantum number भी एक अच्छा रिवीजन होता है हमेशा कभी कभी ऐसे क्वेश्चन आते हैं कि it can take you तो मैं क्वांटम नंबर के एक सेट भेजा था कि मैं पहले भी करा चुका हूँ पर एक बार वापस कर सकते हैं मिलते बच्चे लोग स्टे हैप्पी स्टे हेल्दी टेक वेरी गुड केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ बाय
Why so?